If f of x equals negative 7x over 4x minus 6, find f prime of x and f double prime of x. In this case, we do need to use the quotient rule to find at least the first derivative. I'm not sure what will happen in the second, but let's start there. So using the quotient rule to get the first derivative, what I do is I set up a box with the numerator and denominator in these corners, the derivative of those right below, and I make sure to multiply these two corners first. So the first derivative is going to be negative 7 times the quantity 4x minus 6 minus 4 times negative 7x. And that's all over the original denominator squared. And absolutely, you'll want to simplify your fraction as much as possible because that's going to make this second derivative easier to do. So let's work with the numerator here. Distributing negative 7, I would have negative 28x plus 42 plus 28x. And the numerator, and negative 28, positive 28x, those will cancel. And that leaves me with 42 over 4x minus 6 to the second power. Okay, now the second derivative. In order to do the second derivative, what we'll need to do here, we could first off rewrite this with a negative exponent. And that would be helpful. And what would be great is if we had what was known as the chain rule so far, because the second derivative is actually a little bit easier here using the chain rule. And you'll see some examples with that once we get to that point. But for now, we really can't do that with the chain rule. So essentially what we probably need to do is expand out the denominator. So this would be 16x squared, so the square of the first, plus 2 times the first times the second. So this is 24, so negative 48x plus 36. Okay. And now we could either rewrite this using product rule, or probably a bit easier to get the second derivative using the quotient rule again here. So 42, then 16x squared minus 48x plus 36. The derivative here is 0. The derivative here is 32x minus 48. This 0 in the second, or the derivative of a constant, that's just an indicator that the quotient rule isn't necessary. But again, since we don't have the chain rule, we're just using it this way. But anyway, 0 times anything is just 0. So this is effectively 0 minus, so there's a negative here, 42 times 32x minus 48, all over 16x squared minus 48x plus 36 quantity squared. And because we happen to know that that factors right back into 4x minus 6 quantity squared, you really could do some more simplification here. Like for instance, there's a common factor of 16 in the numerator. And let's see, what is, well, if my calculator will turn on, 42 times 16, that's 672, so negative 672 times 2x minus 3 all over, this factors into 4x minus 6 squared, but then it's squared again, so this becomes to the 4th power. And, oh, you know what? This is here. I'm going to just do it this way. 672 divided by 2, 336. So negative 336 times 4x minus 6, because now that matches what's in the denominator. And one of these will cancel away. So negative 336 over 4x minus 6 to the third power. And again, let me say that it's not particularly necessary for you to simplify all the way down to this form. You could have very easily just stopped at this point right here. It just, sometimes you do have to do some simplifications, so I like to show you it just in case so that you're algebraically prepared.